All right. I'd like to call this special meeting in the Indian Trail Town Council to order. I need a motion to go into closed session.
So moved.
Mr. McIntyre's made a motion. All in favor? That would be unanimous. In accordance with NCGS 143-31811, we are off. Thank you.
Motion to come out of closed session.
Mr. McIntyre's made a motion to come out of closed session. All in favor? That's unanimous. This time I'll call the regular council meeting for Tuesday, March 26th, 2019 to order. At this time, if everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Master Matt, would you lead us in the pledge, please?
Yes, sir. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. If you'd stay standing for our moment of silence, please. Thank you. You may be seated. At this time, I have the floor open for any additions or deletions to the agenda. If there are none, I'll need a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Mr. Cohen's made the motion to approve the agenda. All in favor? Motion passes unanimous. This time, I'll state for the record that Councilmember Head and Councilmember Morse are unable to attend this meeting tonight. Tonight's presentations would be for a new business presentation for Movement Family Martial Arts LLC. Master Majeski, if you'd kindly rise and step to the podium.
Yes, sir.
This is where we introduce our new businesses and give them 1 to 3 minutes
Yes.
to tell what they've done, what they're doing, and introduce themselves.
Awesome.
Matt, the floor is yours.
Yes, thank you. Cool. Got a microphone. Good evening, Town of Indian Trail. My name is Matt Majeski. I am a 5th degree black belt master instructor in the martial art Taekwondo. I've been doing Taekwondo pretty much my entire life, going on about 26, 27 years now. And I have been blessed to continue my passion in difficult times and great times. And, I've been competing as well. I currently hold 14 world titles for best form and martial arts sparring. And I am being inducted into the International Martial Arts Hall of Fame this year for being a living legend in the martial arts. My goal is simple. I want to bring the benefits of martial arts, of what it's done for my life, and I want to bring it to the town of Indian Trail and just enrich the community. And we practice an old thing called Kaizen, and Kaizen stands for continuous improvement of yourself and others. So I love the town of Indian Trail. The energy here is just fantastic, and this is my home. And I want to grow my family with Indian Trail for generations to come and just really bring everybody together in a more positive community setting. I have a martial arts school, Movement Family Martial Arts. We are located right across the street from Brewster's in Indian Trail, and our doors are open, and we welcome anyone and everyone in the town of Indian Trail to come and learn martial arts with us. Next, I'd like to introduce my better half, Leah.
Hi, I'm Leah Morency. I am also a member of Movement Family Martial Arts. This is our family. And I work with these kids often. I help assist Matt with the after-school program at Movement Family. And I also am a member of the Arts and Historical Society. I started the Art League of Indian Trail. I have 7 kids, and I love the town of Indian Trail. It's home to me, and I love our community. And Matt and I, for sure, our number one passion and goal is to invest in our community and make it a wonderful place for the children here and the families here. So thank you very much for hearing us tonight.
And last, I'd like to introduce my teacher. He is a 9th degree black belt grandmaster and pioneer of the martial art Taekwondo, Grandmaster Robert Dunn.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here today. Thank you for letting us be here. I'd like to tell you a little bit about family martial arts, Movement Family Martial Arts. They focus on the young people in their class. Not only do they focus on the discipline and the respect, because the martial arts come from the military in its original origins, they also give a sense of integrity and honor. And I think Matt's doing a great job. He's one of my students. His school is one of 26 different schools that we have around the world, in Asia, Europe, and through the Caribbean. And I have this opportunity to spend some time here in their school and watch how they interact with their students. Taekwondo is not an aggressive art. It's a sport and an art. Taekwondo is for self-defense. And the first thing that Master Majewski teaches his student is Taekwondo is for self-defense only. He's got a great bond with these young people, and many times when the young people start and take lessons, their parents also start in and take lessons well, and it becomes a bonding for the parents. So thank you very much for us being here today. It was an enjoyable experience. Thank you.
Where are you located?
We are located in the Union Festival Shopping Center. It's at the corner of Indian Trail, Fairview Road South, and Monroe. It's across the street from Brewster's Ice Cream, the water tower that we all know and love of Indian Trail.
Down the street.
Yes,
Down the street.
down the street.
Mr. Matt,
Yes, sir.
if you would,
Absolutely, yes.
I'm going to keep your plaque and just give you this.
Oh, super cool.
No, seriously, you know? Well, I know reestablishing yourself and changing your business plan for the betterment of your studio and your community.
Yes.
We wish you many years of great success to both you, your studio, your students, and many years of success as well. Thank you. Welcome again.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
We have a small token of our appreciation for what you guys do for our town. At this time, I would like to ask a couple of my black belts to come up and just give you guys just a small appreciation gift for allowing us to be a part of your town and grow with you.
Thank you, son.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Have the students.
Thank you.
Have all the students
Thank you,
face,
young man.
face the council in the battle.
Yes, sir.
And give the commands a green.
Yes, sir.
This is our way of saying thank you.
Definitely.
Thank you, sir.
At this time, I would like to ask all students, please stand, face the town council. We're going to say in Korean, attention and bow showing respect. We're going to show our appreciation and say thank you with a bow from the martial art. Face town council, Juliet, Kane. Thank you guys so much for having us here tonight.
Okay, at this time, I will open the public comments portion. Thank you for your interest in participating in the public comments portion of today's regular meeting of the Indian Trail Town Council. Please be aware that these meetings are recorded and can be heard by anyone through the internet. Comments are limited to 3 minutes per speaker. You may not give your 3 minutes to another speaker to increase that person's allotted time. Comments are to be directed to the entire council as a whole and not individuals. Citizens will be expected to be civil in their language and presentation and act within reasonable standards of courtesy. We ask the audience, as well as the speakers, to maintain order and decorum in your conduct throughout the public comment period. That being said, you may not engage in slander, name-calling, personal attacks, or threatening or otherwise aggressive speech or behavior that I or the council reasonably believe will imminently result in a disruption of the meeting. Finally, we ask you a simple favor. If you have a grievance, concern, or complaint relating to a town employee, we respectfully request that prior to airing your grievances here during public comments, you first contact the town manager, the town attorney, or one of us on council with your concern. We respect your right to be heard, and we ask you to respect our town employees' rights to a fair hearing of your grievance. Alea Wynn. Welcome.
Thank you. Okay, everyone. My name's Alea Wynn, and I am going to talk about 2 upcoming events we have going on in Indian Trail in the next 2 weeks. The first one I'm going to talk about is the Taco Bar fundraiser for the Indian Trail VFW. It is going to be held this Friday, March 23rd, from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. Adults are going to be $7, and it includes tacos, either beef or shrimp, rice, beans, chips, and salsa, and a drink and a dessert. If you have kids with you, we are also doing kids for $5, so just keep that in mind that it's going to be a family event. Anybody can come. We are going to have raffles there that you can buy raffle tickets for, and we do have some pretty great raffles, so you should come by and look into that. We have a great community here in Indian Trail, and a lot of the things we got donated were from local businesses, so I just want to give a shout out to every business that helped us with that. The second event I'm going to talk about is the Rage Against Cancer event. It's going to be held at the Rage Room off of Independence behind Farmhouse Chic. It's right across the street from the Indian Trail Walmart. You can't miss it if you're looking out for it. That is going to be on Saturday, April 6th from 2 to 6 p.m. Tickets are $20 pre-sale and $25 at the door. I do have some tickets with me today. If you're interested in buying some, you can just come see me after the meeting, and I will get that handled for you. With your tickets, it includes 3 breakable items to throw, and it also includes lunch. We also have additional appliances to smash, such as like TVs, monitors, keyboards, a lot of things for us to get suited up and destroy. It's a great thing to do if you're really stressed out and you just want to relieve some stress, so keep that in mind as well. Cindy's Hope Chest is going to be the nonprofit that we are trying to raise money for during this. And with Cindy's Hope Chest, they help raise money for women who are going through breast cancer to help them with their everyday necessary needs. So we are also going to have raffle items there. We have over $2,500 in raffles. We are going to have silent auctions, and we're going to have door prizes. So even if you just come, there's a chance of you coming home with something that you didn't have when you showed up. We also have a lot of fun activities, such as $5, you get to pie Mayor Alvarez in the face. And I just found out right before today, or like a couple hours ago, that we're opening it up so you can pie me in the face. And I was recently a North Carolina pageant title holder, so that's going to be a fun event. So $5, you get to hit either Mayor Alvarez in the face with a pie or me. So I hope everybody here can attend. So thank you so much for your time, and I'm excited to see you. I also have flyers just in case you want to hold on to them. You can just come see me, and I can get that for you. Thank you.
One thing.
Yes.
I would probably raise the price of the pie to the mayor from 5 to 10. I think you'd probably get a lot of donations.
See, I
that way.
agree.
I look forward to pieing you, Alea. Many times. Before, during, and after the event. Before we continue, I just want to give a shout out to the 3 ladies in the back there, Claire, Crystal, and Alea. They've worked real hard on these fundraisers, and of course, Crystal and Alea were also big volunteers during the Adopt a Cop program, helping out with that. Thank you for your continued support to your community and for volunteering me what to do.
Anytime.
I will close the public comments and open council feedback if they have any. Shirley?
I think we forgot somebody that sitting very close to me here. I think he should not be taken, I mean, we're going to put pie in your face, but I think we should get Chase's.
Oh.
I'll talk to Johnny Black and see if I can arrange him to be over there.
You can always delegate that, Chase. That's a good one.
Anytime.
If there's no further comment, at this time, I'll invite Captain Coble to the podium to rebuttal that.
I have nothing, thank you. I'm going to be really quick. Just to, as an overview, just to real quickly, we did make some criminal charges to some damage to town property. I don't think it would be appropriate for any commenting back and forth right now at this point. I think it's going to have to end up in the attorney's hands, but you can, I'll refer back to what Patrick sent out earlier today. We did a press release on some damage to one of your streets that was done last week. The biggest part of that is that was actually being funded by another municipality and they didn't know about it. So that's the downside to that. It's fun to read some of the comments and some of the comments are cheering this person on, but at the end of the day, there was a victim to getting some work done here in Indian Trail, and that was another municipality that was paying for product and services to be done in their area. So just like we wouldn't want that to happen to our local government and our fund balance, then same goes for there. So at the end of the day, there is a complete story of it versus what the snippets that are going to be on social media are. But I commend the employees working diligently from our engineering department with our detectives this past week, and we're able to come with a resolution pretty quickly on that case. So other than that, does anybody got any questions outside of that? Thank you, guys. And thank you, Miss Shirley. I'll make sure to get some
Make sure
whipped
you
cream.
want chocolate pie, or, we'll get whatever you want.
At this time, I'll need a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Mr. McIntyre's made the motion. All in favor? Thank you, David. That's unanimous. That brings us to old business, committee meeting liaison update. Does anyone have one? Nope, I will close that item. Next item is the ABC Board Rules and Procedures. Kevin, did you want to start that, or just leave that for the council to make a motion?
I can just very quickly, this is a policy for the ABC Board. Primary change per the statute is increasing the board membership from 3 to 5, and some other procedures consistent with the state statute.
Okay. Council, Mr. Cohn?
Do we need to elaborate on that, or is that good enough?
It's good enough from a legal perspective.
Okay,
Y'all are welcome
okay,
to
that's fine.
vote on the procedures or
Did we
speak
wanna
as you
make a
wish.
comment on
Just make a motion.
the going to 5, or?
No?
Okay,
no.
No, okay.
I think right now is a motion, really. That's all we need.
Yes, just need a motion.
So I'd like to make a motion that we adopt the ABC Board Rules and Procedures. That's it, yeah?
Okay, Mr. McIntyre's,
I was going to say so moved. but-
oh, Mr. McIntyre's made a motion to approve the ABC Board Rules and Procedures. All in favor? That's unanimous. Motion pass. Brings us to littering, NCDOT contribution. Mr. McLam, the floor is yours, sir.
Man, this is the quickest meeting in a long time.
Don't
So-
jinx us.
Hey, that's on y'all. That's not on us. This will be quick too. So the littering, we have worked with NCDOT and we're working on a municipal agreement with them for us to take over the litter collection on, it's about 12 or 15 streets, some of the major streets around town. One that we probably will not take over is Highway 74, just because of the congestion and traffic. We would let them keep doing that one. But most of the other DOT major streets around town, we're working on an agreement with them right now. So
Just an agreement where they're going to pay us?
they would reimburse us up to what they spend today on those roads.
Will the cost to us and the reimbursement, will they be paid enough? In other words, do you think that there'll be a shortfall? Where we, the taxpayers, or the taxpayers of Indian Trail, will
No,
have to pick up?
what we'll be able to do, which is what the reason why we maintain some streets, is we can provide a better level of service to our citizens than
agree.
they can from a state level. They're responsible for a lot more.
Yeah,
In our municipality limits, we can provide a better level of service.
but we'll be able to recover the costs that we spend on that?
Yes.
Okay, good. So therefore, yep.
I would imagine that if they, I don't know how much money they give us, but if they give us $10,000, then we can do $10,000 worth of work, correct?
And that's what
So, I mean,
Patrick and I have discussed
So
is-
that way you keep it
Yeah,
in the,
yeah.
Yes.
I think what they're putting before us is about $28,000. the last 2.5 years since I've been in here, we only got
We spent about 4,000.
4,000.
Each
So
time we
this
do
is, will be enough and better than the past year. So I think
Picking up
it's-
more streets.
Yes, sir, we could pick up more streets too. I think that amount of money, and we came back to Mr. McIntyre, you asked us to come back within a month. So they responded, we're happy about that, so we just gotta get the money from them and do the
I
work.
think that's a really good idea, actually.
And a question, because I don't think any council knows, how does that work? I mean, how do you pay somebody to, not how do you pay, but, for instance, let's say Bonterra Village Way.
Yep.
You familiar with that road?
Yes, sir.
People complain that it's got litter on it. What is your approximate cost that you think that would cost to do that? It's what, a couple of miles, 2
So
miles?
I don't know off the top of
per
my
mile?
head, but you pay per mile, per shoulder mile of road that you're picking up, and you have a contract with X company. You contract for them to come out ever how many times during the year, and they pick up the amount of litter that's there. They leave it in bags. They have a pickup truck that drives behind them and throws it in the pickup truck, and they drive away.
Gotcha.
Good job.
Any other
Okay.
questions? No.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That brings us to CIP update. First one is Sardis Road. Who's going to handle that, Patrick?
Todd.
Todd? Oh, sorry.
Mr. Hunsinger is going to give a report on the current projects, and then at the next meeting, our regular next meeting, he's going to give the yearly storm report that's due the council.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Howe.
All right, again, we're just giving updates on projects that are sitting out there. First one is Sardis Roundabout. You see in front of you right now. Basically, we have almost wrapped up right-of-way acquisition, and so we're waiting on some signatures, and then eventually we'll wrap up. We'll ask for the state for construction authorization, which we need first before we can start with the utility location, and that's what you see in front of you right now. Don't let the image scare you. It's a lot, but it's not going to be that take that long to get all that done. But again, it's the process. Right-of-way acquisition. Just to give you a little update on the cost, we had budgeted $360,000 with all the right-of-way acquisition plus some utility relocation that's going to happen that we need to pay for. We're still going to be under budget and with about $31,800 savings. So that's a good thing. Moving forward, when construction starts, right now the estimate's 2.6, which is basically what we've basically estimated in our ordinance since day one. So that's really haven't changed. We got an updated estimate probably a month and a half ago. Again, this project, we are closing that intersection through the summer once school ends, with the completion date being in August before it opens. As far as emergency vehicles and all that, just so everyone knows in case people ask, even if that intersection is closed, emergency vehicles will be able to go through there. So the contractor will make sure that's occurs. So we'll monitor that. I wanted to update you a little bit on the Indian Trail study. Again, we're trying to make drainage improvements to this area. Indian Trail Park is basically Kearney, Grovermore, and Shortcut, and it's one of our oldest subdivisions. Doesn't have an HOA, so it's been around since the 70s. But anyway, we did what we're calling a conceptual study to take a look and see what the impacts would be if we went back and upgraded. We found some challenges in this study because, as you see, if you look on your spreadsheet that's up here on the right, right corner screen for y'all, you see number 9 and number 17B. That's 11 to almost 11 acres at 9, 13 acres at 17B. A lot of off-site drainage from Brandon Oaks that's coming onto Grovermore, and unfortunately, that's bringing a lot of water, which is in turn showing a huge amount of size pipes for just driveway culverts. So what we want to do is basically task the consultant to go in there and take a look at some alternatives besides just going in there and upgrading ditches and driveway pipes, because that seems to be it can be done, but again, we wanted to try to do something a little bit less invasive, if all possible. We're also waiting on NCDOT to finalize the design on Omer Road. Basically, they are distributing, directing water on Grover Moore, which it already does that anyway, so they're not really changing the pattern. But again, they've got to go in there and upgrade driveway pipes and ditches to a certain location, which could be as invasive as the first 10 lots off Omer Road along Grover Moore. So again, we're waiting on that, hopefully get some answers in that in about a week. And then the last project I want to talk about is First Avenue. Again, we've got the conceptual, well, I'd say the initial design of the pond. Again, we bought those 5 lots, as we've told you before. He's basically wrapped up the pond itself. The pump designer is now trying to design the pump. Again, this is a pump/retention facility, and due to the fact that there's no elevations out there to get it to drain, so what we're going to have to do is we're trying to store water deep enough for the rain events and then pump it out at the existing elevations, which is what you see, the contours going between two people's lots along First Ave. And that's what the drainage pattern does now, and that's what we'll continue to do. And our initial findings from the data that of the consultant is basically saying that he's basically reducing the flow. They're getting initial flows of very high flows, and basically he's lowering those by up to 70%, which is a good thing. So the plan is to implement this project, this FY, as fast as we can, and then move forward and try and do some improvements along First Ave. Final design and cost estimate for this phase, what we're calling Phase 1 of First Ave, we should have in about 2 weeks. Do want to give a brief update. It wasn't on your agenda, but Chestnut Parkway Phase 3, we have, again, I don't know if I've told you all that, but we've moved forward with the consultant to finish up the design. We're still on the same schedule as the Chestnut Connector, which is the NCDOT's project. Let date probably 2021. And also, just a reminder, we have a public meeting this Thursday for our Indian Trail Complete Street project. So it'll be here in the large community room from 5 to 7. Any questions?
Just one.
Okay.
The Sardis roundabout, you said should be complete by August,
Yes,
towards the end of August before school opens.
correct.
When do you anticipate shutting down?
When school
When
closes.
school
Yeah,
ends?
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that's the goal. Again, I can't tell you for certain that we'll have a contractor ready to go, fill on the ground, but that's the push right now.
All right. And a question not necessarily for you, but more or less Mr. Parks and Mr. Siddick, in terms of communication to the residents, because we do have quite a few residents of Indian Trail who go over there, who live over there and use that road. I use it sometimes too. So just effective and early communication is letting them know that that's coming. That would probably be helpful, social media and so forth.
Yes, sir. We've already started meeting with the HOAs for the neighborhoods that will be directly impacted by this work as well, and with the school. And we're putting together some materials that will be sent out, detours, different things like that. Our Parks and Rec department is going to work with anyone who has a tournament scheduled at Crooked Creek Park to let them know about this. So we are well underway on that, and we will be pushing more of that out as soon as we know that schedule for certain.
All right.
Mr. Cohen.
I guess we got the land deal approved. I mean, at one time, we had a little problem with, is that taken care of?
That's been taken care of, yes.
It's been
Yes, sir.
taken care
So
of.
that everybody's,
Correct.
and I hope you didn't mention this a minute ago. How are we gonna get around that area? I mean,
The detour?
yeah.
Uh,
Did you mention the detour?
No, I did not.
Good, thank God. I was thinking, maybe
I remember closing the intersection now. Yes, there will be a detour. If I remember correctly, basically, you can't, if you're coming down Independence, you're going to have to take Faith Church Road.
At one time, we had talked about a temporary road that.
Yeah, that's not
gonna happen.
No, because unfortunately, the school system, and the sheriff's department, we just didn't really agree to that alternative. And unfortunately, and also school is going to have a challenge for people to cut through their parking lot to get around it, because that can be an option if they don't have somebody basically with a gate, the gate closed and everything else behind them every
That's right,
time.
you could go through the school and
Yeah.
come around.
Yes, sir. And I've talked to the new principal, I believe his first name's Tim. He just started, I think, last year. I've made him aware of that, and I've told him that he'll be invited to our pre-construction meeting with the contract and everything, so everybody can work together on that. We can help it, if all possible, we will. But yeah, it's gonna be a challenge on his end.
You know, I just thought of something, that would be an excellent fundraiser for the school. If somebody stood out there and charged $1.
Yeah.
Let people come around. You could probably make $1,000 a day standing out there. Is that possible? Is that possible? I volunteer, okay?
I'll send you his email address. How about that?
Okay.
Any other questions?
No, sir.
No,
All right, thank you.
thank you. That brings us to grants updates. First grant would be the NFL. Mr. Sadik.
I'll turn it to Mike. Let me load him up tonight because he's going to be taking
your
some
money out of
time
me.
off.
So we have had conversations with the grant organization that will be awarding that, those funds, and have been told that we will hear back the first or to the middle of April if we have received the funding that we applied for. Just a reminder, we applied for $250,000 from the NFL Grassroots Foundation to go toward the creation of an artificial turf field at Chestnut Square Park, keep that field open all year round. So we should know, possibly by the next council meeting, we may know whether we received those funds or not.
Just to add to that, whether they approve it or not, we are going to move forward with procuring the artificial field, and we already got a cost estimate for that, and it's about $700,000. So that's the money that we're going to use out of the $2.5 million that we have for the parks. So whether we get it or not, we're moving forward with procuring the artificial field.
What's the estimated construction time for that, you would think?
I think if weather permits, it shouldn't be
6 months?
probably, I'm sorry?
6 months?
No, sir, much less than that. The only problem we have there, we might spend about a month or so, month and a half. The soil there, we have to cut it, and we might go about 1.5 feet. That's a bad soil, it's been out there for a while. And then we have to remove it to a landfill, then bring good soil, because we don't want to spend $700,000 on a artificial field on top of a bad soil. So I would say, if weather permits, I wouldn't say more than probably 4 months, 4.5 months. But the procuring process might take us about a month and a half.
All right.
Any other questions? Nope. That brings us to recycling. Mr. McLam?
I'll do this one from here. So we applied for a recycling grant we had talked about it one time before at the end of February. We applied, there's two different levels, 20,000 and 30,000. We applied for 30,000, and that's along with anybody else in the state that applied as well. They had an overwhelming abundance of people applying for this grant this year. So we actually just got word today that we received roughly 43% of our ask. We received almost $13,000 from the state for that grant, and then we have a percentage match on top of that. These funds will be used in next fiscal year to educate the public on recycling. So we had a list of different things that we'd like to do. They approved most of them. A couple of them, they said they wanted us to modify a little bit, but for the most part, we'll be moving forward with that. So we did receive about $13,000. So,
Good job.
yep,
Thank you.
thanks.
Any questions?
It's 2 guys are talking still.
Michael, it's good.
Okay, all right. All right, that brings us to new business, appointment of board members. I'm assuming that's ABC or any other board.
Yes.
Mr. McIntyre?
So I have a couple motions that I'm going to make. So they're going to be fast, so please pay attention. The first motion would be to expand the ABC board from 3 to 5 members, add in seats 4 with an expiration date of 3/30/2021, and seat 5 with a term expiration date of 3/30/2020 with immediate effect.
Mr. McIntyre's made that motion. All in favor? Motion passes unanimously.
Second motion would be to remove the 2 council liaisons previously assigned to the ABC board, that being Messrs. Cohn and Howe,
Is that also effective immediately?
with immediate effect, sir.
Okay, Mr. McIntyre's made that motion. All in favor? Motion passes unanimously.
All right. Third motion would be to appoint Judith Silverquist to seat 1 with a term expiration date of 3/30/2022. Note to everyone that it's a full 3-year term. The date that this will become effective will be 4/1/2019.
Mr. McIntyre's made the motion to appoint Judith Silverquist to seat number 1, term expiration 3/20/22, effective 4/1/2019.
Correct.
There's no discussion. I need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Mr. Cohen's made the motion. All in favor? That passes unanimously.
The next motion would be to appoint James Waltowitz to seat 4 with a term expiration date of 3/30/2021. I want to note that this is a partial term, which is 2 years, and that can go into effect immediately based on the first motion.
Ms. McIntyre has made the motion to appoint James Wadowitz to seat number 4 with a term expiration of 3/30/2021, effective immediately. There's no discussion. All in favor? That passes unanimously.
Still have a few more motions to go through, so please bear with me. The motion to approve to appoint David Cohn to seat 5 with a term expiration date of 3/30/2020. For note, this is a partial term of 1 year. Expires in 1 year, that's seat 5, effective immediately.
Okay, Mr. McIntyre has made the motion to appoint David Cohn to seat number 5 with a term expiration date of 3/30/2020, 1-year term, effective immediately.
I'm not going to vote on this, by the way. I'm going to
So you would have to vote.
Okay, well,
Recuse myself.
no. Just don't give him permission
Is
not
that
to
okay?
vote.
No?
I think you should vote.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Well, he can attempt to recuse himself, but without council permission, it's still a yes vote. All in favor?
Sorry about that.
That's unanimous.
And the last, I'll make the last motion, and I want to have a comment after I make the last motion, by the way. If
Okay.
it's okay with you.
Go ahead.
The next motion is to appoint David Cohn as the ABC Board Chair with immediate effect.
Okay, Mr. McIntyre has made the motion to appoint David Cohn as the chair of the ABC Board, effective immediately. All in favor? Motion passes unanimously. Mr. McIntyre, the floor is yours.
All right, just for the record, we do receive applications for various boards, and I personally, I like the fact that we have quite a few people who apply for the different boards. It shows that people want to serve the town in any capacity that, that they're able to, so I applaud them for that. When we make appointments to these boards, we take a lot of things into consideration, We do so because we want the best for the town. We're working in the town's best interest. There's a lot of deliberation and thought that goes into that. If we make an appointment to a board, it doesn't mean that somebody else wasn't better or any of that. It's just that the town council, using consensus and trying to make these decisions, we make those in that. So in saying that, I don't want to discourage anyone from volunteering their time or applying to be on any of the boards, whether it's the ABC, the planning board, the adjustments, the stormwater, any of these boards that we have in the town. I don't want anyone to shy away from, putting their hand up and asking to join these boards. So I want to thank all of those who have served and who are still willing to serve the town. Hopefully, we can continue to get a lot more applicants and have a very diverse board here. But thank you very much.
Okay. At this time, I see all three are here. We can administer the oath of office, one at a time. I'll step up to the podium?
We can, but before we do, I'd like to say something too.
Yes, Ms. Cohn, please.
First of all, I'd just like to thank Robert Latz, who was the chairman of the ABC Board, and for his hard work and his service. Also, we have two board members that are not here tonight, but both for good reason. And this is not a three-person vote, although I can't speak for them because they're not here, but it was a council's decision. This was a five-member council decision that the council had talked about, and we've talked about it for a long time. So it's not something that we three did. It's something that the five of us did. Also, it's just, I think the ABC Board's done a good job over time. They make us a lot of money. It's just time that we move to a five-member board, and that the town wants a little more or more control in the board than it's had in the past. So hopefully we can all still work together, be real happy, and continue to have a good success with ABC Board.
Thank you. Okay. Just you and me, so we're going to have to wing this. Okay. Okay. I do. Okay, if you'd raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I, Judy Silverquit,
I, Judy Silverquit,
do solemnly swear that I will support and maintain
going too fast for
Do
me.
solemnly
Do
swear
solemnly swear that I will support and maintain
the Constitution,
the Constitution,
laws of the United States,
laws of the United States,
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
and laws
and the laws
of North Carolina,
of North Carolina,
not inconsistent therewith,
not inconsistent therewith,
and that I will faithfully
and that I will faithfully
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
as a member of
as a member of
the Alcoholic Beverage Control Board
the Alcoholic Beverage Control Board
for the town of Indian Trail,
for the town of Indian Trail,
North Carolina.
North Carolina.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Welcome. If you would, let's step over there and print your name and sign. David, you're up. I'm just going in order.
Friend away.
Ready?
Yes, sir.
I, David Cohn,
I, David Cohn,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and maintain
that I will support and maintain
the Constitution
the Constitution
and laws
and the laws
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution and laws
and the Constitution and laws
of North
of
Carolina,
North Carolina,
not inconsistent therewith,
not inconsistent therewith,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
the duties
the duties
as a member of the Alcoholic Beverage Control Board
as a member of the Alcoholic Beverage Control Board
for the town of Indian Trail,
for the town of Indian Trail,
North Carolina.
North Carolina, so help me God.
Thanks for getting ahead of me. All right.
Thank
You've
you.
been through that a few times. Here, David. Go to Kathy. Jim. It's a good thing you taught me how to pronounce your name a few years ago. Ready? I, James Wadowitz,
I, James Wadowitz,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and maintain
that I will support and maintain
the Constitution and laws of the United States
the Constitution and laws of the United States
and the Constitution and laws of North Carolina,
and the Constitution and laws of the state of North Carolina,
not inconsistent therewith,
not inconsistent therein,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
the duties as a member of the Alcoholic Beverage Control Unit,
the duties of members of the Alcoholic Beverage Commission
Control Board,
Control Board
for the town of Indian Trail,
for the town of Indian Trail,
North Carolina, so help me God.
North Carolina, so help me God.
Jim, welcome aboard.
Thank you, Michael.
Take that to Kathy. Okay, that brings us to the manager's update. Do you have anything else to add, Patrick?
Yes, sir, a few items. I'm late a few days on the manager's report, but too many things happening every time I add to it. We get more stuff, so please bear with me and I'll get it out. We're trying to get the UDO, hopefully next week. As soon as I get it, I'm going to spend a few days on it, then turn it to Kevin and Karen for final review. And that's the same thing for the land development manual. Today at lunch, I met with the county manager. It was an excellent meeting. We spent about 2 hours and a half talking about things like developments. We shared with him the uptown and downtown concept. We talked about water and sewer, traffic, major corridors like Monroe Road and Independence, and how we're going to provide the infrastructure to those. He really was impressed with our master planning, and what he would like to do is he would like to invite the commission to come from Union County and meet with our council. So he's going to try to arrange that meeting so that way they could see, because they are the providers of the infrastructure, so they could see Indian Trail as probably one of the most moving forward jurisdiction in Union County, how we're master planning and how we're looking at developments and traffic and so on and so forth. So it was a good meeting, and I'm looking forward to hear from Mark. As soon as I hear from Mark, I'll make council aware of the date, and probably we'll get that meeting scheduled. We also met with DOT. Todd and we met with DOT, and we discussed a couple of things. I requested a response to our letter that we sent. We haven't received any response yet. And we made it very clear to DOT that we would like to keep ownership of first phase of Chestnut Parkway if they don't allow us to do the access management. And access management, we're talking about the proposal that the Moser Group are doing and the Olympic swimming pool. So they're worried about moving vehicles. We told them we're worried about our developers and our properties on either side of the roadway. But it was a good meeting. We received the final copy of the park master plan. Entire staff spent a lot of time making comments, so we got it to a point that it's final. Veterans Memorial, we are looking probably for ribbon cutting ceremony. I've been talking to Chase and Mike and everybody. The second week, the weekend after Memorial Day weekend. So the way we're looking at it is either before or after, but we don't want to do it during Memorial Day weekend because a lot of people plan to go out of town, but I'd like to hear council if they have any input in regard to the date. So I think the following week will be helpful for us. We could get some landscaping out there, flowers and stuff like that, that you could see it. It gives us a little bit more time rather than expedite it and do it 1 week before. But Chase and I we're going to meet and have a final date on that. But please, if council have any comments, let me know in regard to the date. So we're looking at the weekend after Memorial Day weekend. A couple more items. The art program that Parks and Rec had here in Town Hall was very successful, simply collecting arts from different schools. So the part-time architect and myself, we spent a couple of hours last night looking at the drawings, And we picked up the winners, and Parks and Rec, they're going to take and present them to the students at school, let them know that they were winners. We're going to put them, we're going to frame them and put a plaque on them, and come back and maybe our mayor and council could allow us to provide those 8 students, give them the award right here during council meeting, and we're planning on taking their artwork and put it permanently somewhere in town hall. So that was a very successful program. We're also working with our engineering staff, going to meet with Union County to continue discussing the utility easements that we need at Crooked Creek and along the Greenway. And Mr. Evans, last weekend, joined the Union County Chamber of Commerce. They had an expo, a lot of people, a lot of networking. So do you like anything to add, Mr. Evans, to that?
It was successful.
Good, glad to hear that. And the last item is Union County is willing to provide, to upgrade the water line from Indian Trail, Unionville Indian Trail, all the way to Gribble. So when I met with the county manager today, he said, we have it in our CIP. We'll be more than happy to put it. Either we ask you to put it or we'll put it ourselves. I told him we would like Union County to install the pipe, so both engineering is going to get together and decide on that. But they still going to ask the town center developer to take the cost of looping that pipeline all the way to Monroe. So from Gribble to Monroe, that's going to be another 12-inch pipe, and that's going to cost about, according to Typar, about $1 million. So Typar approached me in regard to if the town is willing to provide some incentive. And I did share in the past with Typar that our 35% contribution that we're putting on the complete street sort of is an incentive. But they asked if I could put it before council, and if council decide that provides some incentive for the extension of that pipe, that's something we could bring it back during future meetings. That's where we left it, but the good news is that the county is going to install that pipe from the signalized intersection all the way to Gribble. And that will provide the apartment all the way at the end of the 47 acres with enough water supply for the next sort of like 12 to 18 months. So again, both engineering is going to meet and make a final decision when they're going to start doing the installation of the pipeline. And as Todd mentioned, we do have the meeting on the complete street on the 28th. So if you could attend, that'll be great. I'll be there, engineering will be there, and probably more staff will be there. Any questions, Mr. Mayor or Council?
No questions. Thank you, Patrick.
Yes, sir.
That brings us to council comments.
I have shuffled the deck. Councilmember Shirley Howe.
I initiated that. I just wanted you to know that years
You're
ago.
very good.
Works out pretty good, except if you're first. It's always a good meeting, and it's good to see some strange faces here, too, or some new, not strange, but new. And I'm going to eat that one, aren't I? Okay. Thanks to staff.
We knew what you meant, Shirley, okay?
Thanks to staff again for all that they do, and our manager is very progressive, and that's very much appreciated, too. I'm just so excited about what's going on around here, I can't stand it. So, and Jim Wadowich and our secretary, and Chase the Pie Man, yeah, we're going to get you. I'm going to invest a few bucks in this one, believe me. And thank everybody for coming tonight.
Chase.
And it's, I don't know if we've broken a record, but if I don't shut up, I know that we haven't broken a record, because you haven't talked yet. All right, thank you.
That's right.
Councilmember David Cohn.
Okay, I wanted to Rox, I don't believe you're gonna be back for another meeting, or are you? You're gonna be back here. Rox has found a moving, am I okay to announce it?
It's a little late.
It's a little late now, isn't it? But, and I wanted to say something because, you've been here, as we talked back here, be about 8 years, just as long as I have. And you've always done everything that I've ever asked, when I've asked you to do something, and I've always thought you've been extremely professional, and you've always done a good job, and I think you'll be missed. And I'll miss you, and I just wanted to wish you luck in the future. And, I hope, moving on to, I think, county in Lancaster, and they're lucky to have you. And appreciate you. And feel free to, now you can call me, and we don't have to talk about, you don't have to show me any respect. You can just tell me what you really think of me. So, anyway, thank you for your job done, and thank everybody for coming tonight. And, as far as the ABC board goes, congratulations to Jim and to Judy and Jim. If you'd like to talk later on, I'd be glad to speak with you if you wanted to talk. Jim, yeah, right, yeah. And I hope we have the best ABC board there is, and we can. And I wanted to also say that I was not necessarily crazy about doing this. The council wanted to have a council member on there, and one of the reasons they wanted me to come do it is because I'm not running again, so I won't have any kind of a conflict of interest when doing it for the year term that I'm doing it. So anyway, thank you for coming, and I'm done.
Very good. Councilmember Marcus McIntyre.
Thank you, everybody, for coming, first of all. Rox, congratulations on your new role. Wish you the very best. It was a pleasure to have worked with you for that time. Thank you for your service to the town. Chase, thank you for all you do. I didn't hear anything in terms of the Publix, Aldi's, but I'll ask you about that after the meeting. Kathy, thank you for always having me prepared. I appreciate that a lot. Congratulations to the new ABC board members. Jim, always thank you for your service. You're always here at every meeting, so I really appreciate that. And town staff, Adam, you guys do a wonderful job. I came out this morning really early. It was before 8, so the guys out there with the cement truck kind of getting the walkway done. So that is looking really, really good. I think it's going to be a really big compliment to the lovely town hall that we have here. But Patrick, to all your staff, you guys do a wonderful job. We really appreciate it. Council, as always, it's a pleasure working with you guys. And thank you, everybody, for coming.
Mayor Alvarez.
Real quick, Rox, you probably raised the level of respect and politeness of anybody I've ever worked with in my life. Best of luck to you. Your professionalism is second to none. It's been an honor to know you and work with you. I've been around town and been to the county commissioners, run into different businesses, and I just wanted to give some feedback on our town manager. In the 8 years I've been here, I've never received 100% positive of anything except the job Patrick's doing as town manager and his professionalism with developers, businesses, residents that come in, and I'd like to thank you, Patrick, for making us all look good. With that being said, a resident came in late and wished to have spoke at public comments. We have two choices. To let him come up for 3 minutes, or he can speak to you guys, all of you individually afterward. I'm going to yield that to the council real quick before I close my public comment, for my council comment.
I think we can give you
I've
3
never
minutes,
not recognized a resident when they were stuck coming in. Is it okay with the council?
Yeah, I think we can give him 3 minutes.
Okay, Mr. Little, please take the podium, 3 minutes. Just state your name and your time begins. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. My name is Joseph Little. Pardon my tardiness, but I have a newborn at home, and you know how that can be. But I am in the, now that I know, infamous community of the Chris Mark. And we have the, as you guys know, the parking ordinance. I was first made aware of it, I want to say probably about a month ago when pamphlets were handed out. And I actually did my research on it and everything, you know, to make sure I didn't get a ticket or anything of that nature. And I went ahead and educated everyone of my household because we have currently probably like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 drivers. So that's 5 vehicles in my home. And no matter which way we try to fit the vehicles, they're not going to fit all in our driveway or garage. So lately, I believe it was this week, there were some signs erected about the time frame, and I understand that they were about the busing system because my fiance let me know it's pretty much during the time for buses to come and go. And I'm actually all for the ordinance because since the pamphlets and everything were handed out, I will say the streets have been a lot clearer and it's been a lot easier to navigate up and down the street. But the time frame, the 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. and 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. restriction, it not only applies to the vehicles that are, of course, parked illegally based on the ordinance, but also those that are parked legally as well, because there is, like you said, the on-street parking. As long as we go based off the ordinance, the distance and everything, there's plenty of clearance space in front of my home when you park against the curb, not on the grass, of course, but when you park against the curb. But now, since the time frame, we're not able to move our vehicles, I guess. And if we move them on the grass, not only do we have to worry about the neighbor who actually put a note on my fiance's mother's car because she tried to move her car after that 6 a.m. time frame when she was getting ready for work in the morning. But also we have to deal with HOA. And I've noticed that a lot of my neighbors have actually moved their vehicles on their grass to try and compensate. But I'm like, we're going to have to deal with HOA at some point with this. But I'm all, like I said, I'm all for the ordinance. But it's just my problem was with the sign and the sheriff that came through and pretty much made it known that any car on the street at all was pretty much going to get a ticket, even if we did adhere to the regulations of the ordinance that was put in place. And I was just trying to see if there's a way we can better solve the situation instead of just kind of punishing everyone who has to, because everyone in my household doesn't work a regular 9 to 5. Some people work during the night and then come home, you know, during the morning. And it's just, we're not able to adhere exactly to that time frame as this.
Time's up.
Thank you.
Thank you.
But thank you.
I have a feedback since.
Yes, please, go right ahead.
We do, yeah. Is it possible that, and this would probably be an HOA thing and not a town thing, and maybe the town ought to at least maybe suggest, I definitely don't think people should park on their lawn, but would it help if you were allowed to park on your lawn for between 6 and in other words, when the school buses came in, would that help? If you were
It
allowed
would.
to park on your lawn
If we were
during
allowed
that
to
time?
yeah, if we were allowed to, because there is that little, you know, the sidewalk and then that little stretch of grass, which I don't see the point of that little stretch of grass to begin with. But it is possible for a vehicle to be parked on that little stretch without being on the street. But the problem is, I know it's going to raise a problem with, one, if it's the neighbor's little stretch or if the HOA,
So we are currently, just to keep everybody abreast, Patrick and I were just corresponding, I guess it was yesterday. We are currently going through the ordinance and revising and touching up, and one of the places that is being looked at is that grass area in between the sidewalk and the road about making that allowable. We obviously don't write all the laws, we just are tasked with enforcement. But we've come back with a lot of good feedback from residents, and we're trying to look at it. You know, we're not hiding in the bushes out there, and we have to, I hear what you say as far as the, and I'm sure as Kennery, our deputy that's out there, he's our parking pro, but we have to lay the law out, basically, so to say, because we've got to get some kind of recognition that we do realize that there's going to be a few here or there, and the school buses can work with a few here or there, but if you tell everybody, hey, we're okay with a few here or there, then there'll be 55 cars out there. So it's kind of like what you were talking about driving through the schoolyard. It's a it's a if you do, if you don't kind of thing. So we are going through that ordinance. Patrick and I have been looking at it on some sections to take out of there. The goal is not to punish the people that live there from our perspective or from the town's perspective. The goal is to get the kids in and out of there on the buses as safely as possible and safely as we can. So what I can offer you from the sheriff's office standpoint is do your due diligence and do the best you can, and we'll certainly try to work with you as long as you're making an effort to do the best you can with what you've got. If you've got a means of sharing a space with a neighbor or something like that, 5 cars is a lot. I think any of us would agree, we think about a neighborhood, we're thinking 3 cars, maybe 4 cars, 5 cars is a lot. So, there is some conversation that's got to take place with the HOA as well about how do we look for an off-site place to put some of these in within the neighborhood, so.
If I may, Mr. Cohen, last meeting, Mr. Little, we did offer the residents that they could put concrete between the sidewalk and the curb and gutter so they could put the tires on that concrete. And our engineering department, Todd, last week also generated a detail for that. But as Captain Chase said, 5 cars may be a bit for that lot, and sometimes you have to be on your neighbor's side. But if you count the garage and maybe the driveway and maybe 3 cars on that on that strip that you're talking about, if you fill it with concrete, I think you'll be fine. But we are going to allow the residents that have any issues with parking in that area where we posted the sign to fill that the strip with concrete. So that's an option that it might help you out too. So we'll be more than happy to forward you the details so you could see how it can be done. But we did generate that, and we decided on doing that last meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. I'll close the public comments again and just wish everyone a good night and God bless. I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Ms. McIntyre's made a motion. Oh, did you have something else to say, Ms. Cohen?
No, I am curious of something. The question that I ask, is that not, I mean, I don't know that it ever got answered, maybe it did. Is that a HOA deal that they could, or is that just a ridiculous question that I ask about parking there?
That may very well be, but I do want to add in, not to prolong this meeting, but I think it's important. We are going to allow folks to come up and meet with the engineering department to see about doing that. In other words, don't go out and do any work on your own. Please, come see the town and get permitted and things like that. So I just want to be real clear in that.
So that is really not, I mean, in my mind, that sounds like a good thing to do, but and I'm just asking you, that's not.
I haven't poured concrete in a long time, but.
No, I'm not talking about pouring concrete.
Oh,
I'm
the
just talking
cutting through
about
the school.
temporarily parking from 9 to
Oh, yeah, parking in the
during the
grass.
school bus time.
I think, and Todd may be able to, Todd or Adam one's got more of a background than Patrick, but the one thing that I would be concerned about, just from my layman's standpoint is, there's a lot of utility going from the road to the houses. So you get a water meter broken, and you get a leak from that, then the county's not gonna pay for anything on the other side of the meter. So you could either have an outrageous repair bill from a car or truck or something. Some of these lines are maybe 18 inches, might be what the code book says. Some of them might be 6 inches, and some dirt got thrown on top of them by, not say anything about the builder, but, it just may have been a crew just didn't do the right kind of work at that particular lot. So, the challenges of
So are the water meters that close to the road? Is that what you're saying?
I think a lot of them are close to the
Okay.
sidewalk, yes, sir. So, and some of them are in that area between the sidewalk.
Could you put a
and the-
sign out there that says parking from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. except on parking meters?
Honestly, I think as we work through this, I
just-
think one of the biggest things that, this, Mr. Little is the same guy that we should all keep in mind whenever we look at future projects, but then looking at these, we'll have to definitely go with these HOAs and try to work out something because it is a problem. But there again, we're not out hiding in the bushes waiting to write parking tickets. That's not our goal. Our goal is to get the service delivery vehicles. I want him to be able to order Amazon and get a delivery, from a FedEx or UPS truck, so.
Can I ask one thing, Mr. Mayor, of you, just to make it clear that this was not council telling people to go out and start doing concrete work. So let's just make that clear so that is recorded and it's very clear because We don't want any misinterpretation.
That's right. As Councilmember McIntyre and Captain Coble said, do not just go out and excavate the ground or the roads or the medians. Please come to the town engineers and work with them and get the proper permits and follow the proper ordinances for underground lines. Thank you. That was your public service.
And that was a beautiful hat you had on, too. I just want to tell you. I like that.
Yes, sir.
All right, now that being said, if there's no further discussion, Mr. McIntyre made a
Motion
motion
to
to
adjourn.
adjourn. All in favor? All right, we can go home.